don't have your camera on? Fucking, what are you, a professional?
I have a tiny box opening knife. I'm going to open this box. This is a live unboxing. I got this. Okay. I'm going to show you what I got, and then I'll explain the story. I think I might have already typed in the chat, but no one pays attention.
That's true.
Okay. This is literally...
Oh yeah, you got that. You ended up taking it for free or whatever.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you pay for that?
For having a YouTube Premium subscription, which is the best $15 I ever spent, or was. Now it's officially the worst because I have to have one of these. They sent me an email that was like, "Hey, you can get a free Stadia controller and a Chromecast Ultra with your YouTube Premium subscription." And I said, "You know what? You drive a hard bargain, Stadia. But I guess I have to take you up on that because I would literally be leaving money on the table if I didn't."
Well, joke's on you. If you would have said no next week, they were going to say, "We'll pay you to take it."
Yeah, I know. It's true. I really fucked up on that.
We'll give you an extra year of YouTube Premium free if you take this.
Yeah. I think so far, so what I did was they also give you a free month of Stadia Pro, which is basically their Game Pass equivalent.
Don't slander Game Pass like that.
It's true. What happened was I logged in and I looked at the list of games and I immediately logged out.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The games that they give you actually are like, there was not even one thing that I was like, I should try this out. Like, it just wasn't. It was either shit that I've already played plenty of elsewhere, or like games that I had no interest in. Like, it wasn't even like, I'm not even talking like old games. I'm talking like indie games that you're like, I consider myself pretty aware of video games. I think I'm a gamer, okay? And I had never heard of some of these games, which does not bode well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway. I gotta say the controller feels alright. It's a nice white. Nice matte white.
I should have subscribed so I wouldn't have to pay for a Xbox controller.
You know what's hilarious? Actually, they give me. I have a USB-C cable now, so. So you should have subscribed just for that fucking USB-C cable.
I know that's worth its weight in gold, honestly.
And then my Chromecast Ultra, which I actually might use, because I hear our Chrome. Can you still just power Chromecasts from the HDMI rather than needing a power cord for it? Because if so, that's very tempting.
I don't know on that one. On the old one, I know you had to have a
power cord,
power cable for it.
Damn. What's the one? Oh, it's the Fire Stick that you don't have to power. Is that right?
Well, even the Fire Stick that I had to have a power cable.
Really? Oh man, yeah. I don't know where I'm getting my intel from. Okay, that's fine.
No, I mean it could be newer ones. They got rid of that because the one that I have is pretty old.
The Gary Busey stick.
Yeah. Anyway, now I have a Stadia taking up space in my tiny apartment. Hello, nice. Everyone. This was the cold open. Welcome.
Oh,
now everybody's with that. Everybody stopped listening because Stadia came up.
Yeah, I fooled everyone. A live unboxing on an audio podcast. Now that's just dumb. That's just some dumbass shit right there.
Yeah, you didn't even describe the box feel. How did the box feel?
You know what? It's actually a pretty premium box, and everything is cardboard. There was no plastic involved, which was nice. I respect sustainability.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch that YouTube channel, John for Lakers, that used to like unbox Apple products back in the day?
No. If I did, I guess the name didn't stick with me, but I definitely watched a lot of unboxings at one point in my life. Remember when unboxings were like the big internet trend?
Yeah.
How far we've come.
Now it's Pokemon card packs.
Yeah, don't get me fucking started on that. It's basically, I feel like rich people have to find new ways to just play the stock market. You know, Like 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 people who are rich and also bored. They're like, I'll play the stock market through Pokemon cards. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
buy 3 million packs of Pokemon cards, and hopefully I can resell these for more than I wasted money on them. Welcome.
Turns out you can.
You're listening to the Infinite Scale Podcast Network. I am your loving host, William Chandler. I'm joined by one Sean Petersohn.
Hello. I'm not loving.
Oh, we know. I had to play Dead Space 3 last night.
Had to.
Yeah, no.
You had to play the Dead Space 3 menu and the
Yeah.
Dead Space 3 any file.
I had to play the Dead Space 3, Google Dead Space 3 troubleshooting for every single new tiny issue that came up.
I hope we get to talk about this.
Oh yeah, we will, because, well, we'll get there. I'm also joined by Tyler Williams.
Hi.
Hey,
How
how
are
you
you?
doing? Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
Thanks, SpongeBob. And joining us again, Chris Crossley.
What's up? What's up?
Nice.
Chris
Yeah,
Cross.
I love the energy. I'm digging the big energy here. Bringing it. Got a new microphone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope it sounds
How
good.
much you got?
It's the Astros 850s.
Oh, cool.
I got a headset. Yeah, I like those. Those are a very convenient headset.
Yes, they're the most comfortable with my glasses that I've ever had, and that's really the big sell there.
Yeah. I used Astros for many years, and then when mine finally broke, I said, I ain't paying that. But sometimes if I like the biggest thing, this is now just an Astro ad. I'm gonna send this to them later so they'll pay me.
Yeah, true.
The one thing that headset does that no other headset I've found conveniently does in one package is mix multiple console audio together and your chat. So you can have like your PC audio and like a PS4 audio at the same time, which is, the usability for that is very limited, I understand, but for some reason I caught myself in that predicament numerous times throughout my time with the Astros, and I was happy it worked, because like otherwise if you're doing that with like, you know, like physical mixing hardware or mixing software or, you know, whatever, so they make it very easy to not know what you're doing, which I enjoy. So I don't know if you guys know, but this is a podcast about video games.
I thought it was about Stadia.
Hold up. I thought this
Yeah.
was the Star Wars podcast.
We're launching. Oh no, that's tomorrow.
Oh.
No, that's tomorrow. What do you want to talk about Star Wars? What do you want to talk about? What do you got? What do you got for me? This is a teaser for
Mandalorian.
tomorrow
Season 2.
podcast.
Season 2.
Oh yeah, true. Mandalorian.
That's happening. That's current, right? Currently.
Yep.
Still coming out.
I'm 2 episodes behind.
I'm all of the episodes behind. I actually haven't watched.
I think it's a
really-
good show.
What'd you say, Crossley?
I think it's a good show.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people agree with you on that.
They better.
It's good. I liked seeing Timothy Oliphant again, in case you needed a reminder that there are people out there named Timothy Oliphant who are sometimes in things. I feel like it had been a while.
He kind of felt like they just took him off of the street and quickly put an outfit on him, and that was it. I don't know why it feels that way, but
Yeah.
Did you guys see
It
that
was
Reddit
weird.
post about the fan that has like 20 cosplays for Star Wars that they ended up like bringing into the show as like an extra
What?
because he had
Wow.
all these
Wow.
cosplays?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually wore his own cosplay in the show or not, but
Huh.
yeah, he was, I guess, some sort of really big Star Wars cosplayer, and they brought him in.
That's
I wonder
pretty
if they
cool.
paid him.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely paid him. I don't
think-
think it, I'm sure it wasn't a lot, but
Yeah, so I imagine they do pay extras, but probably not too
yeah.
much.
Yeah, well, tune in tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
for this amazing in-depth Mandalorian discussion. such hot topics as I like Timothy Oliphant and did you hear about the cosplay man? For all your Star Wars needs.
For some reason, that podcast's not doing so well. Not doing as well as this one. For some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it.
Can't put my finger on that one.
No, I so video games, they exist, and I've played some. I'm here to confirm the existence of video games. I've been to Area 51.
God.
I'm here to reveal to all of you that they're just a lot of video games. All the unreleased games are there that you are trying to get. Yeah, they're all there. Elden Ring, they got it, dude. They got it.
Got PS5s though. Those bastards.
Oh yeah, they tried. They were on target at midnight and couldn't get through. Couldn't get past the sneaker resellers. Buying up all the PS5s and fucking stacking them up. Every time I'm in a PS5 Twitter, like a release, like hey guys, like Amazon's got some PS5s right now. Every single time I'm in a Twitter thread with that, there's always at least one guy who's like sleeping emoji, got mine a week ago, and I look at the image and I'm like, motherfucker, I know who you are. You're a liar. First. And secondly, you're just trying to make me feel bad, which you did. So nice. Fucking prick.
Good job.
Yeah, no. What have you guys been playing? Who's really excited to talk about a video game?
Me.
Crossley, by all means.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
I fucking beat Hades.
Okay.
Nice.
You know, how many? Okay, beat like you escaped or you're done. Like you've escaped.
I
a bunch of times.
I haven't escaped a bunch of times, but now I know that I can for sure do it.
Yeah. What run are you on?
I think it was like my 30th attempt.
Okay. What was the closest? Okay. So I've also been playing a bunch of Hades.
Yes, good.
I finally understood the scope of that game, I think, because you know how things like you like things happen and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is a thing now in that game. Like you just kind of you just kind of have to roll with it. So I'm on my 10th run and I got outside and my dad was there. Yeah. My dad was there and I was spanking his booty. Yeah. Pretty hard.
Right, yeah.
This is listen, don't ask. And then he fucked me all of a sudden randomly.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
All of the sudden, and I was like, I'm shocked that this happened. And then I haven't been able to play more, but I want to. So I'm not asking you to tell me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm close.
Yeah, no, once you get over that hump to where you can actually get to him outside, I guarantee you're going to get there almost every single run unless you just have a really bad run.
Okay.
Because ever since I reached that moment, every single run I make it to him now. Okay. And it's just a matter if I can beat him or not.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, I won't say much about what happens after that, but I definitely understand how I'll have to clear it multiple times to finish the story, quote unquote.
Okay.
Which is nice. I was hoping it wasn't going to be dumb, but no, it's I'm satisfied. I want to play more.
Good. Yeah. It is a really good game. It doesn't, it's a good game in a way that mechanically good games are. Like that's how I felt about Bastion as well. Like, it's a good game in the sense that you're like, hell yeah, like this, like you just can't stop playing it, right? In the like the sense of, this is very satisfying to play.
Yeah.
I so far do not love the story stuff.
Yeah.
but maybe that will change because I feel like I don't really have the right to pass judgment at the moment. But it's not like, Transistor or something where I felt like I was immediately drawn in by like the story and the world and the characters and stuff. Like it just sort of is what it is, I guess, at the moment.
Yeah, I personally kind of was, but I have like a really deep love for just like that type of lore anyway. Like, oh my god, like this is a total reference to like that in that mythology. Like, it's just
Yeah.
a lot of that going on, like pure fan service for me. But Transistor specifically will always be like the pinnacle of like awesome, cool shit, like characters and world building that I want more of.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sad to say that people disagree with that statement. Like people have to have very strong opinions about which Supergiant game is their favorite. But we know we're right.
Yeah, for sure.
We know we're right. What else have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Basically a bunch of random PC stuff. I've just been like kind of dipping my toes in the waters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just built your PC, right?
Yeah.
What'd you get? What you got? What's under the hood?
Honestly, it's I got the good RAMs, I got the good hard drives.
Okay.
I don't know names or anything.
Those are two components of a PC. That's good.
Yeah. The thing I know the name of for sure is the 2080.
Oh, you got the 2080? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. And a damn
that's a high number, buddy.
That is, yeah.
That's a big number you got there.
That sure is. Nice, man. That's good. That'll hold you over for a while.
Yeah, I'm content.
Yeah, you bought yourself I think at least through this generation, you could just ride off of those specs for a while and you'll be perfectly fine. So,
yes, sir.
If you want, or you could, have a sickness like me. Whatever, however you want to go about it. Nice. Okay. Who else is excited to talk about video games?
I played a video game that nobody's heard of, called G-String.
Terrible name. Yeah. It's a bad name.
It's a pretty bad name.
It's a really bad name.
G-String is a mod for Half-Life 2, or at least it's with the Source engine. It uses a lot of like UI elements and sounds and assets from Half-Life, but it is not Half-Life at all. It's more of a sort of dystopian like future.
That's not Half-Life at all.
I don't want to. No. Well, yeah. I mean, it's different. I want to say cyberpunk, but I feel like the term cyberpunk has been redefined these days. It's more of that grimy kind of like 70s, 80s, very analog cyberpunk kind of style. Yeah. And it's a full game, apparently. It's like 10 hours or so.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool so far. I know that you and I found out about this through the amazing YouTube channel G-Man Lives. He had some complaints with like the movement and the mechanics of it. And generally like getting around and getting from level to level. So far, I mean, unless it gets way worse, it actually reminds me a lot of how Half-Life games progress. It's not that confusing yet, any more confusing than like getting through a level of Half-Life, in my opinion, or Half-Life 2 rather. But the aesthetics of it are amazing. The production of it's incredible. I think it was made by one person. I don't know if I'd have to like read up to see if like the team is bigger than that, but it's really impressive because there's a lot of like little cinematic moments and I would encourage anybody to at least check out the trailer or even that G-Man Lives video. It's very fun so far. Really like it.
I think it's so the terminology for things like this is a total conversion mod, which is basically you take the engine and framework of a game and you create your own assets and maybe unique game design, like you can slap some extra mechanics on the end of it, right?
And you can see where things are just sort of like reskinned Half-Life 2 kind of items and the way they work. Like you have like a telekinesis ability in the game, and it's essentially just the gravity gun, but no gravity gun.
Yeah.
And there's other things that are like that, but there's also a lot of stuff that they made on their own that is really impressive, like the enemies and stuff. You fight these sort of, I don't know, they're like androids, but I don't know. This game is really hard to describe, honestly. I don't know how to quite describe the shit in the game, but you should just like check it out. It's really cool.
It's an interesting project for sure. I think it's worth noting that despite being, it's a total conversion mod, so I think this is like a fair. Listen, before I say what I'm about to say, I don't think that people who make things should not get paid for their work. This is a $20 mod.
Yeah. I could see somebody having an issue with that. Maybe it should be priced less. It's on sale right now for $17, I think. And I don't know. It's whatever you think the value is worth. I think for how long the game is and the amount of stuff that's in it, I could probably justify that, but I could see how somebody also couldn't. I don't know. I usually don't play total conversion mods or mods in general. That's just not what I usually put my time into. I only really played this because that G-Man video just made it look really cool.
Yeah.
And I decided it was worth it. And maybe I'll disagree later on, but so far I'm pretty impressed with it. It's a very surreal game too.
It's clear that they put a lot of work into it.
For sure. But it is pricey.
Yeah. I mean, games as we've established, like I think it's unfortunate the way the games market has gone in terms of like what is worth it and what is not, like value proposition wise, because like we were talking about Phasmophobia before we started recording. Like Phasmophobia is a $13 game, but because of the way that game is designed ingeniously to be replayable infinitely, you could get feasibly a bajillion hours out of your $13, right? So then it starts to become like, how do you judge the value of a like the dollar to game value of a product? Like is a damn good $8 or 8 hours worth $20 or whatever versus like a mediocre.
I've been thinking about this a lot for a while now, just because I think
it keeps you up at night.
Yeah, well, I think it's true that other than maybe FIFA, free games make the most money right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, like
and
League
then
of
it's
Legends
like
and Dota and
right, yeah. And so let's say a game like Genshin Impact is doing really well because it's free. I never would have bought that game, never. Whereas maybe a game like I love Genshin Impact. But so maybe a game like Avengers should have been free.
Yeah. Sure.
And then all that bullshit in the game could have still costed $10 to $15 to $20, and maybe they would have made some money.
I think for me, it's like I think a good example is the creator of like Lost in Vivo. Their games previously were, I think, less well received and less impressive technically. And if I can afford it and I can like give a developer like this money so that they can put more time and more money into their next project, like I could easily see this person making something really, really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll never make another thing. I actually don't know much about the developer's history. I should have came a little bit more prepared. But to me, the time investment and the money made sense. But also, I would like to give smaller developers more money, because then you get things like Lost in Vivo coming out, and you get them being able to put more time into these big projects.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the real answer is you have to judge for yourself what you're willing to spend money on, right? There's no easy key for like, oh, well, I think that's why I feel like game reviews have become so. Remember when game reviews used to just be like, we give this game an 8 on value. Like it's just like, how do you even do that anymore? It's 2020. Money has no fucking meaning anyway. It's all about to be. We're about to reset the world. We're gonna be dealing in corn cobs. How many corn cobs do you think? How many ears of corn is G-string worth?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't pay 20 ears of corn for Avengers. I probably wouldn't even pay 10 ears of corn for Avengers.
You couldn't pay me 10 ears of corn to play the Avengers video game. That's how fucking strongly I feel about that piece of shit. But
Amen.
sorry, got a little heated there for a second. The Marvel properties make me angry.
Yeah, I am
Actually,
really super Marvel.
let me replace that with any superhero ever. Yeah, cool. I think kind of piggybacking off what we just said, I don't want to pay $17.99, but I do want to play G String at some point. It seems weird, so that's maybe just where I'm at with it. But I would like to try it. So maybe if they do a sale or something, I think it's sad too, because I think in that G Man Lives video he mentions that this thing's been in development for like 10 years or something crazy.
Oh shit, I don't remember that. That's cool.
But yeah.
It was nice to play something in the Source engine again. I've always been a really big fan of that UI and just the general way that things feel. I'm one of those weird people that plays the Half-Life 2 series once through like every 5 years, just because it's a cozy game to me, or a cozy series. And this so far has given me that feeling of playing like a Valve-esque game again.
Well, you're in luck. I don't know if you knew this, but they made a new Half-Life in 2020.
No, they didn't. They definitely made something.
They did, weirdly enough. Let me tell you exactly. So I am, being up on the latest things, being up on the latest games. Hot breaking news. All right. Hot breaking news. Half-Life Alyx is a Half-Life game.
We're like a year late to this.
Yeah. Almost literally. Like this game came out in like February. Yeah, I finally decided to play Half-Life Alyx. I'd been putting it off because there wasn't really a VR headset that appealed to me. I bought a Quest 2. Fuck Facebook, but you know what? Based on all the research I did, unless you wanted to spend $1,000 on the Index, which I didn't, it seems to be just the best all-around headset. Like, I mean, there's good arguments for getting a Vive. And there's that HP just released a new headset called the Reverb G2. Seems pretty good, but I think as like a value proposition, especially given that like you look around at the VR games landscape and there's really just not that much out there, the idea of spending an astronomical amount of money on a headset just seemed reckless and like a bad move. So I bought a Quest 2, and I've been playing some Half-Life Alyx wirelessly, streaming from my PC into the Quest 2. The experience of doing so has been initially a little tinkery. Like you have to be willing to work with it. You kind of have to dial in so it actually technically has nothing to do with your internet. I want to get that out of the way because that's kind of a weird thing to wrap your brain around when you hear the term streaming. You automatically think you're going to be utilizing your internet speed, and it's going to be, whatever. No, because it just lives on your local network. So basically the way this works is you set up a little kind of mini media streaming server on your PC that then streams into an app that you downloaded onto your headset that then tricks your Windows computer into thinking that you have a headset plugged directly into it, when in reality you don't, right? So that's like the super dirty explanation of it. There's a lot that actually goes into it, and it is an extremely impressive. I want to just say that most of this work for the virtual desktop streaming app has been done by what seems like one guy. There's literally a guy on Reddit who made this virtual desktop app back when VR headsets came out a few years ago. And back then it was literally just for being able to look at your desktop in like a 3D VR space. So it was like you could watch movies or, whatever. And then when the Quest 1 came out last year, he's like, what if I just started making it fucking stream to it? And people like really liked this, so he's been working on it. So whenever a new release of this app comes out, he just posts it himself on Reddit, on the Oculus Reddit. And he's just like, hey, I've been working on this thing. It's crazy. Like it's wild that this shit even works. I want to say
because I didn't realize you could do what you just said at all. I had heard to play Alyx on the Quest 2, you could just like plug it into the computer as well. Okay?
So that's the other thing. So the other way to do this is to buy, but here's the deal with this. So you need a USB 3 cable. Sounds easy enough, right? No, because one, you need one that's long enough, which is think about every cable that you use in your life. Most of them are not 16 feet or 10 feet even, right? So there's that. Secondly, and this is something that, maybe people don't think about until they have to, which is that the longer cables get, the worse of a connection you have. This is the reason that HDMI cables are not super long, right? Because if you're pumping a lot of data through a cable and it's really long, you're losing a lot of that quality. So Oculus has a cable they call the Link cable that is $80. It's a USB 3 cable. It's $80, and basically it's like insulated and wired properly. That it being 16 feet, you don't lose any more than you would on a shorter cable.
Yeah.
You need a long cable because you need to have room to move around, right? There's also the fact that just having a cable in general kind of takes some of the specialness away from VR a little bit. Like, that was always my hesitation with like the Vive. Like, I remember when the Vive first came out and you like looked at the back of the headset and there were like 4 cables like jutting out. You look like a fucking predator.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff to me, it takes away from like the feeling of like immersion and whatever when you're like, oh, I'm tangled up in my cable here. Like, I don't know. But
yeah.
I will say I am going to, and I should add on, so in the years since the Oculus Link first came out, I guess a year since the Oculus Link first came out, they have widened their specifications to allow for third parties to make cables for it. So most cables you can now get are like $30 or $40. So I'm going to get one, and I'm going to test that out at some point, and I'll report back. But the wireless so far has been the only way I could do this because I don't have a USB 3 cable that's long enough. And let me just say, I think the wireless thing is, if you're willing to work with it at the beginning, it represents the ideal of VR, right? Like it is exactly what you want. You are untethered. You just need a big enough play space, and you can do whatever you want in that space. You don't have to worry about other things. It's cool. It's cool. The Oculus Quest seems like a cool headset. I mean, I need to play more games on it to know. Most of what I'm going to be doing is going to be streaming from my PC, I think. I'm probably not going to play, because like the Oculus Quest is a standalone headset. You could just download a fucking game directly into your brain if you want. But the graphics in that case are not going to be as good as like PC VR. Because I've seen some of the results of the in-headset VR stuff, and it looks like a really good phone game. Which phone games look really fucking good now, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, you've been able to make phone games look really fucking nice, but it's running like a mobile, like it's running a phone processor that's been adapted to specifically work well for VR and AR projects. So Snapdragon.
And so, like, no matter what you do or like what you're playing, I guess, on the PC like streaming thing, it'll look way better, basically.
Yeah.
Because
it's gonna look better texturally, because you're basically, it's rendering on your PC, right? And then you're streaming it in. Now you will have artifacting, just like if you're watching like a movie or something, you're streaming something, right? Like like it's not like natively playing. There's also latency. So I experience between 30 and 40 milliseconds of latency on average, which is not nothing. Your brain takes a second to get adjusted to that. Like, I think it's well suited for a game like this, and probably not as well suited for something like Beat Saber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I have not played, so I don't, I have no experience there, but I know people really like that game. I probably wouldn't use this for Beat Saber. But also, like, to me, this is for games that can't run on the Quest itself. Like, Half-Life Alyx is not going to come out for the Quest, or I'm not going to say not, but it hasn't.
Right.
So, this is for stuff like that, or like, I don't know, Boneworks, people like that. Apparently Boneworks is really wild because, like, the way that they've modeled the physics and stuff in that game is very like enemies will come at you, like they'll walk at you and you can like hold them up, like you can hold them away from you. Like I watched a video of a guy getting in a fist fight in that game, and it looked like how you would actually get in a fist fight. It was really weird. Like he was like holding the guy out here and punch. You know what I mean? Like he was like holding him. He had his wrist in one hand and like his shoulder on the other, and he was like trying to flip him over. Like it was just really weird watching that shit. Anyway, Half-Life Alyx. Enough preamble. Half-Life Alyx is a Half-Life video game. Anyway, we can move on. No, it really is. It is. If you have played a Half-Life game, let me tell you the thought I had about, I don't know, 3 hours into Half-Life Alyx. I've played this game before.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You go through ups and downs with it. It's like, because there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, this is a Half-Life game that looks new. You know what I mean? The last Half-Life game came out officially in 2007.
Yeah.
That was a long-ass time ago. Graphics have changed.
Yeah.
Seeing Half-Life stuff rendered in 2020 is really fucking wild. Like even just in modern graphics, removed from VR, like seeing a Vortigaunt look good, you're like, damn, dude, you got what kind of skincare regimen you got? You smooth as fuck, bro. That shit's wild. You know, but you know that once that wears off, then the holy shit, this is like interactive in a way that I haven't seen before. Like you're like picking up boxes. Like there's this thing that this game loves to do, which is make you like hunt through their meticulously crafted and lovely environments in order to find ammo and stuff. And they'll put it in, you know, it'll be like there'll be like one of those plastic tubs that you might put sweaters in before you put them under your bed. You know, like one of those, and it's just like sitting there, and you'll pick the tub up and like lift the lid off, and you're like, there's a magazine of ammo in here, and then you'll grab it out. Shit like that's real fun. Like, you know, you'll go through phases, and then you know, I'm still glowing anytime I use the gravity gloves. Anytime you like suck something from across the room into your hand and catch it, because it's like you actually have to do it. Like you fling it at yourself and then you have to catch it. Like it's like a 2-action thing. It's not just if you fling it you're automatically going to catch it. So there are moments where you're like being a dumbass and like in a firefight and you're like, I need to get that ammo from that table over there, and you're like, and then you like don't catch it and it just flies away and you're like, I'm a fucking loser. Like, you know, it like there are things like that make it really cool. When all that stuff fades away, when the novelty has worn off of VR, and some of that stuff doesn't wear off. Like you remember occasionally when you're in the environment and you're like, I just kicked this table over with my actual hand so I could use, you know, it for cover or whatever. Or I'm physically crouching behind this windowsill. That's a little weird. But when the novelty of it mostly is stripped away, you realize that they made a Half-Life game. Like it is another Half-Life game. And it really sells the idea that, remember when Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out, and it was a very good game, but it wasn't as good as Half-Life games had been when they came out in the past. You know, Half-Life 2 came out and you were like, holy fuck, this game feels important, you know? Like it feels like we're pushing the medium forward. And I mean, if you think about it, Valve as a company has been obsessed with tying their game design to new technology, right?
Yeah.
Like physics in Half-Life 2 was the big thing. Like they had all those fucking tech demos where they're like, check out these barrels. Look, we made a gigantic pachinko machine with these barrels. Look at the water. You guys ever seen water in a video game before that looks this good? Fuck no, you haven't. I'm Gabe Newell. Check out my knife collection. Like that's like, you know, they were big on the tech side of things, and it suddenly makes sense why they would be so into VR, because it literally is the next tech thing that they can be obsessed with, and it works really well. Like this game is designed so well. It's meticulous. It is there. I haven't encountered a fucking bug yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like the game runs amazingly. It's gorgeous. Feels good. The gunplay feels good. Everything about this game is like is like they went all out. But when you take away all that stuff, it is just a really good Half-Life game, which is to say that there's nothing about it that is like it you start to feel like you've been doing the same thing for a while. You know what I mean? Like I'm 8 hours in this game. I look back and I'm like, well, I crawled through a dark building and there were zombies and there were head crabs and I was scared because fuck, man, head crabs turn out they're like the size of like a medium dog. They're like Shiba Inu sized. Head crabs are fucking huge, my guy. It turns out. Who knew? Barnacles too, man. Barnacles are fucking scary. These things are big, and they drip saliva on you, and you're like, this is gross.
Have you tried seeing what it's like to get eaten by a barnacle yet? That sounds awesome.
I haven't even let myself get grabbed by one. That's how scared I am.
I think what's fucked up is that if I played this game, the first things I would do for the first hour is see all the different weird ways you can die in VR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what's interesting is that like the one way I've died so far is that I accidentally walked off of a tall building. And when I tell you that was a very jarring experience, falling from like a high height and dying was a really jarring experience in VR. That's like an understatement. Like it was really weird.
Yeah. No, falling in VR is the one thing that fucks with me the most, because my biggest thing in real life is heights. Like going up a ladder, I start to get like sweaty and nervous and shit. So like anything involved with height in VR, I'm like, oh my fucking god, it's over.
Yeah, no, it is really weird. And so I think that is the big thing about VR that makes it really interesting is like situations in Half-Life in the past. Like if you like, let's say you're in Ravenholm in Half-Life 2, you walk into a room and there's 3 zombies. You're like, I gotta take care of these zombies. Maybe I remember that game being scary when it first came out and a little bit intense. But like not in the way that this is, because like in this game, when a head crab jumps at your fucking face, you have like a visceral human reaction to that. Like it is just having something jump at your fucking face is not an enjoyable experience. So like they're basically throughout this game, this is a horror game for the most part. Like I've fought mostly zombies and head crabs. I'm 8 hours in. I fought the Combine 3 times. You know what I mean? Like it is just not. It's just not as much of a Combine killing experience. Now it has become more so recently. I can feel like I'm getting near the end of the game, and like it's more and more Combine focused now. But like it is first and foremost seems to be a slower paced, methodical. Hey, I'm digging around for ammo because I only have 3 shotgun shells, and if I turn a corner, I'm going to use all those. You know what I mean? Like it is definitely that, and it works well for that. But like, yeah, I mean, you're nervous all the time. Like shit, it gets dark. It gets real dark. Like, in a way that you're like at one point. I was in a pitch black room and I had just been given a flashlight. And so I was using the flashlight and I shined it in my eyes to see if that worked. And it does. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm blind. And then I realized adding to that effect was the fact that when I turned like this to like look inside the flashlight, the bridge of my nose, I was looking directly up at one of the lights on my ceiling as well. And so it was like coming through where the bridge of my nose, there was like a tiny gap where the headset wasn't. That was a really weird experience. Because it's like your brain is like, I'm in darkness. And then you're like, Jesus, what the fuck is that? But yeah, also I got a laser sight for I got like a little snap-on laser for my pistol. And I shined that laser in my eyes and it fucking hurt. So yeah, weird. But when a head crab gets on you, it like physically latches on to like where your character's body would be, and it's really weird. Like it jumped on and it got on my chest, and I was like freaking the fuck out. So I'm just like shooting at my own chest trying to get it off.
I have a question about that actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you're like in combat in any way, like are you able to just like pick up objects? Like if you have no ammo, can you just like bash somebody with some like random trash that you find?
So everything in the game world reacts to not just objects, but also your hands. So like
Okay.
actually sometimes I will accidentally bump one of my hands into something and it will move and I'll be like, oh shit. Like I'll just forget on occasion. Like doors, or like I was like looking in a drawer at one point and there was like a keyboard on the desk, and I wasn't paying attention to what my left hand was doing because I was like opening the drawer, and I brushed the keyboard off the desk with my left hand because it was just kind of chilling, and I startled myself. I was like, what the fuck was that? And it was me doing that. Like the game world reacts to everything physical. Like it's full physics simulation, just like in Half-Life 2. So like if a head crab, well, okay, here's some dumb shit. You can put a bucket on your own head in this game. You can.
That's cool.
There's actually yeah, so you can like a lid to something, like a trash can lid, or like anything that's like big and round. You can use it to like block stuff. So like at one point a head crab was jumping at me, and I knocked it aside with like a lid of, I think it was like they had like a toxic waste barrel.
That's awesome.
And there was like a lid for it. Yeah, you can definitely do that stuff. I haven't tried really to kill enemies with it because melee in VR is still very strange. Like getting the momentum right feels really weird, and you know, shooting stuff is really satisfying, honestly, in VR in a way that is worrisome. I feel like this is the closest we've come yet to having a link between real life violence and video game violence.
We truly have murder simulators now.
Yeah, it's pretty strange, to be honest. But yeah, shooting stuff is satisfying in a way that meleeing stuff isn't, because so the game does do something interesting, which is that there is haptic feedback. So like when your hand in the game brushes against something, your controller does vibrate. And so there is a little bit of feedback there, but there's no like if you hit something, there's no like real like pushback. You know what I mean? It's just kind of you follow through even if your hand like kind of stops, right? It's weird. So I don't know. I haven't tried really meleeing all that much, but there's a lot of really satisfying like ways to interact with the environment in this. Like you'll find yourself like at one point I had there was a barnacle hanging from the ceiling and a poison head crab was jumping at me. And well, two things. One is that I was like standing behind the tongue of the barnacle and the head crab jumped, and I moved my physical self like to the side, and it got caught in the tongue. And the tongue is like tongue, so it kind of swung also. So at first in my head, I was like, oh fuck, it didn't work because it still went past me, but it was because the tongue is like, you know, it's like ropey, so it like went, so like the physics like swung it past me, and then it went up. It was really interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit like that. I think the weirdest thing so far though is getting the calibration just right on how high the floor is actually harder than I thought it was going to be. So like,
yeah,
there was something on the ground that I wanted to pick up that I had dropped, and I went to kneel down, and I was just like, not like super far, but like maybe 2 inches too high.
Yeah.
In a way that broke my brain. Like I was like trying to, and I'm like, I'm touching the ground in real life, but I'm actually still a little too far to pick this thing up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what I did when I had a lot of trouble with that across a few games, and so I've discovered that the solution is just to make the floor way higher than it actually is, like obviously, like maybe to my knees or something weird.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like I don't have to bend over as much, but I still get that feeling that I am having to, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to fiddle with it a little bit. And I mean, obviously mine is a little more complicated because I'm working actually with 2 different floor levels, because I set the one in the headset, which is standalone, from Steam VR's floor level. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit weird, but so I'll have to fiddle with the settings on that. But it hasn't bothered me that much. And honestly, that game has a built-in way for you to not do that, because like the gravity gloves, you're just going to pull shit up most of the time anyway. I actually found myself pulling shit with the gravity gloves too much, to the point where I was like, I need to be physically interacting with this shit. Like I need to I was opening a cabinet, and I was like, I'm gonna force myself to actually reach in and grab stuff out of this cabinet instead of just. But anyway, Half-Life Alyx is really cool. I honestly, I want to finish it narratively. There's not a lot going on yet, but I think it is the game that will sell you on the the capabilities of this technology so far. Like, I think it is impressive in just about every possible way that it can be. I think what's interesting is that all the ways in which it is impressive are not necessary for it to be a good video game. And I think because of that, it is, it is by default a good video game. Valve made it. They don't make bad shit. But like, it is, if you've played a Half-Life game before, you have played this game. Like there's just a lot of dressing around that makes it more interesting, and keeps you engaged longer. But like, yeah, I mean, you shoot zombies, you shoot guys. It's satisfying. It's fun. They mix it up in some ways. There's a very interesting. There's a room where like the moldy alien Zen world overgrowth has like grown into this tunnel system that you're in, and it has I don't know if this was like a explosive barrel storage facility, but if you it's basically they've set it up to where you are about to engage in combat in an area where if you if you are negligent with your shots, you will blow up the entire building and yourself. So
it's like the box smashing room from Half-Life 1.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, with all the trip mines. Yeah. Actually, I forgot about that because I haven't played Half-Life 1 in a really long time. But yes, it is exactly that. But made in a way that makes VR, like, you know what I mean? Like you are physically aiming, and aiming is taxing in VR. Like you're like doing this a lot, and you're like, I got to look exactly down the iron sights of this gun. Like you're like you can. Oh, also, God, sorry not to go way too long on this. You can do this. And it not only does it steady your aim in the game, it just helps you in real life, like because like you just feel more stable by putting your hand under your other hand when you're aiming in that game, in a way that is very interesting. You can also just do this, and that's fine, and you'll find yourself like peeking around corners and being like like especially once you get the laser sight, then you just feel fucking really cool. You're like, yeah. Yeah, like you like find yourself like clearing rooms like you would if you actually had a gun. Like I'll open a door and I'll like stick the gun through a little bit first to kind of like look around. Like, yeah, you fuckers, because dude, like when you start that game, it is really easy in a way that you're like, this is stupid, and then the kid gloves come the fuck off, and you will find yourself in situations where you're like, I wasn't expecting to have to shoot something, and my body is not physically ready for this. Like a head crab will fall out of a ceiling tile, or that shit that they love to do in Half-Life. And in a PC game, you're like, I moved my mouse 3 degrees to the right and murdered it. But in VR, you're like, fucking shit. Like it's like under you, and you're like awkwardly bending your gun arm down to like, it's weird. VR is weird. Anyway, that's my rambling. I haven't had the chance to really talk about that much. I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest. Actually,
I'm glad it's fun.
Yeah,
I still wish that there was some world where this game had just a normal PC adaptation, or just normal kind of. And I know that their whole argument with that is that it wouldn't be the same. It wasn't designed for that experience. But like, whenever I think of the whole like every Half-Life game is tied to some sort of tech innovation. Yeah. That's true, but those tech innovations were like engine stuff. You could still play each game on a PC. Well, they would like, episode 1 was like they had this really cool lighting system, and then obviously like the first sequel was like the physics was really impressive, but like it wasn't cost prohibitive in a way like, oh, I have to spend like $400-$500 on a new piece of hardware just to play it. Like I still have hangups about that, but I'm sure I'll play it eventually. I don't know if it's in the same like category of tech innovation as those old games were, where you could still play it on like whatever hardware you had.
Well, let me just say that with the PC that you have now, you could spend, what is it, $299, get a Quest 2, and there you go. Like, you're ready to play it. Like, you don't need anything else. So that is, and that's the reason I did it that way.
Point, because even then it's like, okay, you're asking me to spend minimum $200 to $300 to $400 to play. But and the thing is, for me with that is, it's not like Valve has been getting us prepared for this via games. They've been like, I guess they did like redo all their games to be playable in VR, but I don't even think most people know that. So for them to just all of a sudden like less than a year, yeah, they did. Less than a year before Alex comes out, they announce it and they're like, "Hey, guess what? You need a fucking VR." Like, it's gonna be.
I think I actually disagree with the idea that
a tough sell.
When Half-Life 2 came out, I think it's easy to forget just how taxing that game was on PC hardware at the time. Like, the physics calculations for that game, I could not run that game on the shitty, it was 2004, the shitty desktop computer that my mom used for Excel. I could not run that game. Like, it was actually, I was not getting the experience that game was intended. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, Valve has always been, it's kind of like when Crysis came, like, you could play Crysis when it came out, but like, not really. I mean, not really. Like, you weren't playing the game that they wanted you to be playing when they designed it. And I think really, I guess the one difference is that, you know, yeah, I mean, at the time I could run the Ravenholm demo on that piece of shit PC in a 700 by 600 window, and with all the graphics turned to the lowest setting and the physics borderline turned off. And yeah, I could play it. But also I think, you know, Valve has finally taken that hard stance where they're like, hey, this VR is the minimum for this game that we want. You know? Actually, and I think here's the other thing, is that there are cheaper VR headsets out there. You could buy $100, $80, $50 VR headset if you wanted to.
Oh, for real?
I think totally. Those exist. They're everywhere, dude. There's like a cheap VR headset coming out of China every day. Like, they're out there and they work, like, just in the same way that me playing Half-Life 2 in 400 by 600 works. You know what I mean, or whatever. But so I think the argument is the same. It's the main limitation, I think, for this is the space constraint. Like, you do need at least a little bit of room to move around, right? But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, after having played this game now a bunch, I will say that if you played this game as a PC game, you might be disappointed in it. I think that's what Valve is afraid of, is that, like, played as like a normal game, there is nothing about, in fact, you'd probably be bored, because like I said, if you walk into a room and there's 3 zombies in VR, it's an intense experience. And if you did that in a PC game, you would be like, this game's too easy. And they seem to have designed every encounter. Like, when you fight Combine by the end of Half-Life 2, you're fighting like a battalion of dudes at once. I fought 4 guys and 2 man hacks in a fight that I did last night and was like sweating by the end of it. I was like almost dead. Like it's just a different thing. It would not work. I don't think. But and I think the stuff that you would get out of it, the only thing you would get out of it by playing it that way is the narrative. I think,
right.
Which hasn't even been shown to me really yet. Like, they have not dealt their hand at the moment, so I don't know. Tyler is now going to tell us why he thinks VR is a gimmick.
I don't necessarily know that I think it's a gimmick. I just don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see it going the way of the 3D TV. I don't think that right now we're at a place where it's got like staying power, you know. There's too much.
Don't they train you in VR in real life?
No. I mean, well, okay. So that's the team that I'm involved in, is bringing virtual reality to training environments. Sure, there are definitely applications for VR. I don't think that gaming is a great one. I think a lot of people are going to be like more physically limited than they would anticipate being, and so I
Have
don't
you played much VR yet?
Yeah, I work with it every day. I'm bringing it in. I have a headset.
like-
I play. Yeah, I've played
Yeah.
VR games. Yeah.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
just curious.
I own it. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not too crazy about it personally. I don't really enjoy playing VR games all that much.
Yeah.
I know there are people that do. That's cool, but I don't think it's a large enough market to actually continue and justify, large gaming developers to continue to support it in a way that it will have staying power. That's why I compare it to like the 3D TV. Is like, yeah, the 3D TV was cool. There were people that definitely liked it. It was interesting. There were only a couple people that actually supported it, and so it just ended up dying off in time.
I think you should play this particular game and get back to me.
Yeah, Alex.
I only because and I know there's like a handful of games that's and this exactly what you're saying is the reason that I bought a $299 headset instead of a $1,000 Valve headset, right? Because like I did the math, and in my head I was like, I'm not going to play. There's not going to be enough good games for this thing for me to justify spending $1,000, right? That's a whole new PC for some people. Yeah. So I partially agree with you, but I do think that like with Half-Life Alyx having just come out last year, you've got that Boneworks game that people seem to really like. There's the Walking Dead, the Saints and Sinners game, which is an open world. It's like a stalker game. Like you walk around and have to drink water and eat food and sleep, and like it's like weird. Like it's like they like made a real open world game, which is strange to me. I need to play that thing and see what that is, but. I think you're right in the sense that like it could be that way, but I think people have been devoted enough to try to make it this other thing, to make it maybe more of a peripheral, almost like how like racing wheels have never gone away, but like games still support them and they're still around, but it's like
they support them, but they're not built around it, and that's the thing about VR is you're not just gonna have a game that's just like, oh yeah, this game just casually supports VR. I mean, like, yes and no, right? With like games like Phasmophobia, right? It's VR, it supports VR, stuff like that. But I mean, you'll never have like a major AAA game that's like, hey, Godfall just came out, and I can play it like either on my
Crossley's
PC
right.
or on.
Crossley's right.
Yeah, okay, Resident sure,
7.
yeah, one game like here and
Fallout
there,
4.
but I mean, like,
Sorry.
it's
I just
not.
bought
It's
Fallout
not.
4
I had
for
an
VR.
example for you.
Okay, Hey, you know what? Get back to me. Remind me in 1 year when we have this conversation again and VR's fucking dead.
Oh my god,
that's a bold claim. I mean, it's not hard to imagine a world in which VR does not become a thing, but I'm
not saying that it's not going to become a thing. I think it will still be around. Yeah, there's a ton of people that have headsets. I just don't see it becoming a big, like, actually incorporated into like gaming, as much as people seem to want to believe it will.
Sure. Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
I understand if you don't like it, but I just
I do like it. I like it. I'm not shitting on VR at all. I'm just saying I don't think it's gonna happen.
Not what's happening.
I think
I'm just saying that it's not gonna come out. I'm sorry if I'm personally attacking you and your VR headset.
You're saying
even though I have one right
in a
here
year
next
from
to
now
me.
when we talk about this, it's gonna be dead.
I was
He's
joking.
kidding.
It's not
He's
gonna.
kidding.
I literally just said I think it will still be a thing. There will still be VR games out there. I just do not see it becoming a major a big play, like a big factor. I don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Listen, they're gonna
wave.
If
Listen, here's
after
what's gonna
years
happen.
Valve decided to make their next video game VR, that would just be wild. After not making a new game for years.
The theater industry is gonna die.
What's the meme here? I missed
Nothing.
The theater industry is gonna die, and they're gonna convert all those spaces into rental VR spaces.
Rental VR spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, let's hop on that.
We need to get in that business.
Buy those theaters.
The next like 12 to 18 months are going to be the biggest trial period for VR that we've seen yet, because you now have a bunch of commercially available headsets that are affordable. You now have evidence with Half-Life Alyx that a big budget VR game can work. Interestingly,
how well did it sell? I'm curious.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know that there are statistics out there for that. But I mean, what's that website where you can see Steam games player counts, Steam stats, I guess steamcharts.com. Yeah. Okay. Alex, let me just type this bad boy in here. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, here we go. I am actually curious about the validity of these numbers.
Why is it saying a lot?
Let me just type in. Okay. Okay.
How many copies does a game sell normally?
Actually, this makes sense. Okay. These are concurrent players, bear in mind. The all-time peak for Half-Life Alyx is 16,459 people at once, right? All-time concurrent players. The 24-hour peak is 1,000. All-time peak for Half-Life 2 at once is only 6,000. Now, that could be a limitation of
I don't think they're comparable.
And I think it's probably realistically because this wait, how does this? Okay, yeah. When did they start tracking this? Yeah, they didn't start tracking shit until 2012. So I think that's not really a fair comparison, but it does.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's another? Okay, I'm just.
Like Skyrim VR or something, right? Doesn't Skyrim have a VR game?
Yeah. Well, here, let's also look at.
And that's another example. Thank you.
They make Skyrim for a fucking toaster. That is not an example, dude.
I can play Skyrim on my fridge.
Skyrim VR all-time peak.
Aside, it's one of the best VR games, though. Like, it's really well done.
All-time peak, I haven't played it yet, so no judgment there. All-time peak is 11,000 for Skyrim VR. And I guarantee you for Skyrim regular, it's probably like 100,000 more than that. But let's see. Yeah, actually, all-time peak. They started tracking, which, to be fair, is not going to be. I mean, 69,000 all-time peak. So I mean, it's a niche, but it's not maybe as much as I was expecting to be a niche. Like I thought a lot fewer people than that would be playing Half-Life Alyx, but.
I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty hype game. I don't know. No, I don't know. I think I think I've really offended Crossley here.
No, I think
I've really offended him.
No.
I'm not.
I just think you're very wrong. And
that's fine, man.
Thinking that it's going to die, and it's just like, no, dude, that's a bad take. It's not going to be the 3D TV. He's like,
yeah, I definitely think it is going to be the 3D TV. I don't think it's like going to completely fizzle out. I just think that it's not going to be supported. It's not going to be as big as people think it is. There's just not money in it right now. Maybe someday down the road when VR becomes a lot cheaper and a lot better, sure, maybe then. But here, like within the next couple years, I like, unless there are leaps and bounds made, I really don't see that being the case.
Okay, here's what I need. I need somebody to buy Visceral Studios and Dead Space 4 is a VR game. Nobody's going to agree with me, but that's what I want.
Yeah, I don't know. The tracking, like, I think my biggest issue with it is like how shitty the tracking is on VR still. Like, I don't know if it's just because I have the lighthouses and I don't have the one that has like the internal tracking or whatever, because the Quest has that, right, where you don't have to have lighthouses.
Yeah, correct.
Is it bad?
What even is that stuff? I don't even know what you're talking. Lighthouses.
Yeah,
lighthouses are sensors.
Yeah, so there's sensors that you mount on the wall, or you put them on a high shelf or something, and they So the index
That's how pretty much every VR except for the Quest works, right? The Quest is one of the only ones that has internal tracking.
The original Rift was physical, lighthouses. The Vive and the Vive Pro and
Are
then the
lighthouses,
index, are all lighthouses.
lighthouses.
So theoretically, and here's the thing, is lighthouses are based almost entirely on placement, but technically speaking, lighthouses should be better tracking than cameras in the headset because they have the capability to cover your entire body as opposed to what is just in view of the cameras directly in front of you. With that said, the way the Quest does it is it kind of fudges because it uses data based on how you're moving with the controllers behind you to guess at where those controllers are without needing the camera, the visuals. So, they're trying to kind of eliminate that hurdle. But it's tough. I think the original, the Vive controllers also didn't have the best capability for tracking. I think so far supposedly the Index and the new Oculus controllers are the best controllers for accuracy. Because like Oculus has been working on their tracking technology, and supposedly they're one of the best. Which is a shame because everyone hates fucking the Facebook shit. But
yeah, does the Quest 2 let you do finger stuff or not?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can do it, buddy. I'm talking to a finger stuff pro over here.
Yeah.
Listen, I
Cool.
rock climb.
Good.
My fingers are strong as fuck. No, yeah. So actually, here's what's interesting. So all the modern VR controllers have capacitive buttons, which means that they actually detect when your finger is getting closer to a button. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
So, like,
it's cool. On my Vive Pro,
The Vive, yep.
like my thumb will it'll show my thumb where my thumb actually is near the button.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool before
It's
I
really
even
neat.
touch it.
It's really neat. And some games will use that. Some games. So like I think it was in The Walking Dead actually. I saw that if your finger isn't near the button, your character displays trigger discipline.
That's funny.
Which is pretty neat. But yeah. And so Oculus has this in beta right now, but they have controller-free hand tracking. Where you can put the controllers down and enable where if you just use your hands, it'll track your hands individually, without the controller. And some games support it, but from what I understand, it's a little bit laggy right now. So not the best, but you can do it. So it's cool. Yeah, we'll see. I think the next 12 months are going to show if people are going to start, like developers are going to start taking VR seriously.
Yeah.
And that will be if they start making games that are good and they keep coming out, I'll go, well, fuck, maybe I should have bought a nicer headset. But at the moment, I feel good about my $299 that I invested in this, plus the $60 for Alex or whatever. I actually just went on GOG. Is it GOG? No, Green Man Gaming. GMG is having a sale on a bunch of games, and I loaded up. I picked up a Fallout 4 VR, and Skyrim VR just to see. Like, they're cheap. They were like $12 a piece or something, and I was like, that's worth the price of admission just to see what this is like.
Yeah, I personally think Skyrim VR is the most fun I've ever had playing Skyrim. And I've wanted to do Fallout VR for a while, but it's not on the PlayStation, unfortunately.
Yeah, which my understanding is because it kind of even still runs like shit on PC.
No, I'm sure, yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, that was a long VR conversation. Sorry about that. That was a lot.
It was.
But hey, man, content's content. You know what I mean, guys? We're giving the people what they want. Giving the people what they want a year after it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Tyler, what have you been playing? I think we haven't asked you yet.
Yeah. I got the new Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of that. And it is certainly Call of Duty. That's about all there is to say about it. Yeah, if you played Call of Duty, you played this one probably. I've gotten I've spent a majority of my time in multiplayer. I'm like 4 or 5 missions into the campaign. The campaign's cool. There's some cool stuff going on. This is my first Black Ops game. I've not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've not played any prior Black Ops game.
Campaign, you mean? Because I know you played the multiplayer of the other ones.
Yeah, I think I played like Black Ops 2 multiplayer maybe, or wait, no, what was
we played 3 because there was that map where you swam underwater for some reason. Remember that map that was like in a cave, and then there was like this weird underwater part where you could swim under.
Oh.
And we played. I think you and I and Jacob played that one multiplayer a bit, but
they all blur together.
They sure do, buddy.
But yeah, this one's it's not bad. It's not bad. If you like Call of Duty and you want to get the new one, then go ahead.
You being sponsored?
Your prerogative.
This is like you working on behalf of Big Call of Duty, Big COD,
yeah, dude.
Bro.
Yep.
Being lobbied. You being lobbied
personally sponsored by them. Not sharing. And then I've also gone back to another terribly toxic game, League of Legends.
No.
Yep. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I see. This is why you're you don't think VR is a good investment, because League of Legends
sucks. I'm gonna play League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a 12-year-old game. This is I get it now. It's because League of Legends doesn't support VR. That's why you think it's gonna die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if League doesn't support it, and if Genshin Impact doesn't support it,
oh, true, dude.
It's not going. It's not going.
Could you imagine, bro? Could you fucking imagine? VR Genshin Impact. Imagine the anyway, need I say more? No. all the husbandos you need right there.
So that's what I've been doing. I'm just gonna skate past that one. League is in its preseason, which is always a good time, fun time to rejoin.
Because everything's broken.
My opinion, because everything's fucked and nobody knows what they're doing. So
you know what, buddy?
Right,
I will play some League of Legends with you one of these days.
I fit right in. You should. It's honestly, it hasn't been a bad time at all. I just leave. I just leave. I just leave games. No, I leave the team chat off or whatever, like where the enemy team can talk to you. I just turn that off.
Yeah,
and it's very peaceful that way.
You're lying.
No, it honestly has been good. Can they still
emote at you even if team chat's off?
They can, yeah, they can still emote at you.
All right.
And they added in all those new emotes where like Lux is holding up double thumbs up, and people love that one. They really like that one.
I don't even know that that's new. I feel like that was there 4 years
ago.
No, that's the last time
that's
I played.
That's an old one, but people are still just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that. I am getting ready, getting peppered, because tomorrow night is Shady Lands, World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
Oh yeah, bro. Tell me about the foxes again.
Dude, foxes, they're there. They are there.
Oof.
They're still there.
I'm still working on a way I can clip that out of the last podcast and share it where people can hear us ruin the thing that you love.
That I love? Oh, just World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
I was saying, not to be confused with the Fox Girls. I don't love Fox.
I mean, so you say, but listen. We all have secrets, Tyler.
Yeah. Now, if they did World of Warcraft VR, then yeah.
Oh.
If World of Warcraft back VR, it'd have some staying power. But until that happens, that's about all I've been playing. I've stopped playing. I've stopped playing Mortal Shell. I've sworn it off since my dear friend Will has opened my eyes to apparently it's a bad game. I didn't know. I'm sorry to everybody that listened and may have taken my advice.
Jesus.
I didn't know what I was doing.
That game made me physically sick.
That's right.
And it's not even a VR game.
I still think that's an okay game.
I agree that it's an okay game.
I was like, I expected not a lot, and it even still managed to fucking just violate my expectations in a way that I
Really?
was actually shocked by. Like, I just like, even I played a little bit of Lords of the Fallen, which is a bad game. Also.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
And I think this game is comparably bad. Like, it's bad in the same ways. Like, the way that dodging in that game is more of a suggestion than actually a mechanic is really wildly terrible. And I just can't. I cannot abide by bad Souls clones. I think they need to get their shit together. I need to play the Surge so I can
I was just going to ask you if you've played the Surge, because that's like really fun.
Yeah, people say good things about the Surge. I'm gonna play every Souls game so I can have you know how people keep like a like, I'm gonna have a Souls game black book where I just keep a a black book of all the shitty Souls clones that I've played. Because man, I'm sorry. I came at you a little hard when I discovered that Mortal Shell was really bad, but it's fucking really bad.
I don't think it's that bad, but
okay,
I don't
tell me about it.
I've only played it for like a couple hours, so there's that. I just want to get that over with.
By default, not a good game.
But I mean, well, there's just a lot of stuff to play right now, but the few hours I played, it felt really good. It looks fine. And I like the hardening.
Don't we all?
Yeah, so I think whenever I do sit down and try to like really chip away at that, I'll probably have a good time. But maybe not. I'll get back to you.
I look forward to you getting more into that game, because let me just say, one, it's going to be one of those games that we never go back to. I think that's just going to be what it is. True. Like, I think it's just because the opening hour. I played about 3 hours. The opening like hour of that game is, you're like charitable. You're like, okay. I mean, it's a little weird that what's up with this tutorial and whatever. But you're like, cool. Like, I like the visuals of it and whatever. And then and the music's fine. And then you like get a little bit further in and things start to just become. You're just like, what am like? Where am I going? Why am I? Why? The combat isn't like good enough to like draw you in, so you really just kind of have to be charitable to even get that deep into it. It doesn't really feel like something that is going to make any of us want to go back and play it. But I don't know, maybe I'm fucking wrong. Mortal Shell fans, hit me in my inbox. My email is No, I needed to take Tyler's advice and set up a Discord for this so we can invite people to like tell us how shitty our opinions are.
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Because I am open to if someone who has played and finished Mortal Shell can intrigue me enough to see that game through,
we'll have a live debate.
Yeah,
please. You versus the.
I've played 3 hours of that game. I don't even think I've played enough to have like an actual opinion. I just think that game.
That's kind of how I feel too.
That game does not use its opening hours in a way that makes me want to keep playing it, which I think is a real fucking shame. Because
there's I don't know, I enjoyed the combat of it. I thought it was pretty fun. It was cool. The hardening was neat, like how you can do it at different points throughout the attack and everything like that to kind of change the combat up.
Let me tell you, buddy, when I was in 6th grade, I also thought the hardening was neat.
Dude,
but as the years have worn on, it becomes more of an inconvenience.
The hardening is a burden. I think the one thing that I would agree is that maybe the story isn't really there per se. I don't know. I didn't really know what to do. I talked to the big bird guy, which was fucking cool, man.
He's got a cool voice.
Favorite character in that game. Not that there's really many characters. Yeah, low bar. Anyways, but he's cool. And then I think the intent is to just kind of get different mortal shells and weapons, different shells and weapons, and then just kind of progress through those areas. It seems like you're kind of trying to free that bird or something, or help him out.
When I looked at the leveling, also like the stuff you get from like improving your character, I went, "What is my incentive to play?" Like, I just, there's really not anything keeping you going in a way that seems that interesting. Yeah, you get mortal shells, you get different weapons, but like then you try to like level up, and the stuff you get from like spending those points with the lady.
Sipping the divine tar.
Yeah, the what you get from drinking the tar is not interest. Like, it's like roll a little faster, or whatever. It's
there were some minor upgrades. There were one or two that were like pretty cool, pretty big upgrades,
but they cost so much. And then there's a second thing that they like. Because you have two currencies, and,
you do have two
they
currencies.
cost a little bit of both. I love how we've devoted now this much time to talking about this game that I'm never gonna play again. But have you started Dark Souls 3 yet? We need to do that.
I know. I'm waiting on my controller to get here.
Yeah, I will say that hands down, like the Souls games are way better than Mortal Shell. Like, there's a clear difference to me between like 3 and Mortal Shell, which I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls 3 again now that I have a PC and it can look very pretty. And yeah, I would say that just the feeling of playing a Souls game is still like more, I don't know the word to use, but it just feels way better than Mortal Shell does. But I do think that Mortal Shell is not bad. Like, I was pleasantly surprised and want to finish it, hopefully. We'll see.
All right, well, I mean, you know what? You finish it and then talk to me, and we'll see what's up.
Yeah,
we'll see what's up. I don't think it's like a bad game on the scale of like video games as a whole, but I think if you like, the problem with these Souls clones is that they are comparing themselves to a game franchise that has made its entire existence around these set mechanics, and then you take you literally take those mechanics from that game, from those games, and then apply them into something else, and then don't do it correctly, don't do it right. You are inviting the comparison to those games. Like, you are literally, I'm making a game that is intended to be compared to Dark Souls, and if you don't come close, I'm angry. Because then why are you wasting my time with this bullshit?
Because there's not another Souls game right now, Christian, obviously.
Bro, Demon Souls just came out, and if I have to, I will break into the Best Buy at night and steal the display unit. I swear to God.
Well, technically, even Demon Souls Remastered is a Dark Souls inspired game, given that it's not made by From.
That's true. That is also true. And did you hear there's a door in that wasn't in the original?
Wow.
Yeah, I did hear. Yeah, I did hear that.
Somebody they put a door that that was not in the original game, and that mystery lasted for all of 4 days.
Oh, they found out?
Some guy on stream, I watched the clip of it. Some guy on stream gave you know how in every Souls game there's like the birds that you drop shit off the nest.
Yeah.
Somebody discovered that if you give like a certain number of gold coins to those birds, they drop a key that lets you open that door.
What's in it?
In the door.
A unique armor set that is actually pretty badass. I will say. Cool. It's pretty cool.
Is it bird themed?
It is not. It looks like it's called. I think it's actually called the Penetrator armor set.
Oh. Nice.
And it has a big horn on the helmet.
Has a what?
A big horn on the helmet.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So I'm just gonna say those motherfuckers working in quarantine at Blue Point sure were horny when they made that. Anyway, any other games? Any other games you guys want to talk about before we, or any news before we wrap this?
I do have a question for
please.
you guys.
Yep.
I don't particularly care about the Game Awards like all that much, but I do just find it interesting maybe what they are coming up with for all the different categories. And so Game of the Year, they have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, and Last of Us Part 2. What do y'all think out of that deserves Game of the Year, or what do you think that maybe isn't up there? that deserves.
Go ahead.
I don't know that I would say it necessarily deserves it, but the one that I think will win is probably Ghosts of Tsushima. I think that one will be the winner.
I really do think Hades is going to win.
You think Hades is going to win?
I do think
Dude,
Hades is going to win.
So popular right now.
It is really
that I think that'll
popular.
win.
Games Press loves it. Players love it. I think it's like the one middle ground where everyone kind of agrees that it's a really good game. I think all of those games like feasibly could win, but to me that's like the one that's. It seems like if I let's say I had money to bet, I would probably bet money on it. Like that's how confident I feel.
Yeah,
but
it's ridiculous how much people are talking about it still. Because I mean, it's been out for like over a month now, and people won't shut up about it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, here's what's interesting is that my initial reaction, I read that list the other day, and my initial reaction was that it felt like they were forgetting some stuff.
Yeah, right? Are they?
I don't know. what came out this year? Like what I'm really honestly thinking Ori? Did Ori come out this year?
Yeah, that I think maybe it didn't, but I think it did, and it is kind of weird. Yeah, it did come out this year.
Yeah, Ori, I would say, I mean, like, I just want to give me the list one more time. Will you type it out?
Yes, but it's Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay,
Ghost of Tsushima, Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal.
I don't like Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I don't know why that's on there, honestly. And then
did Resident
Hades
Evil 3
and
come
Final
out this
Fantasy
year?
7 and Last of Us Part 2. Huh?
Resident Evil 3 came out this year, right? The remake?
Yeah. They have it in a few other categories, but not on Game of the Year. And they have Half-Life Alyx on a few categories as well.
It's a little weird that that's not in the running for Game of the Year, because I do think it's a really good game. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know that game is Game of the Year material, but I do like it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't know if it's Game of the Year, but
it's just a very good video game.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess looking at this list though, like let's say I thought maybe Hades didn't deserve it, because I kind of don't. I don't know. I do, but I don't type situation.
It's just a really fun video game. It's not like I'm not like amazed by it. You know what did come out this year that's strangely omitted from Game of the Year? Mortal Shell.
Well, yeah, and then so
move past that shit.
Yeah, so if it's not Animal Crossing, because I feel like that game did ridiculously well. I mean, it made Switches be sold out for like a couple months, and it came out at like the perfect time for quarantine and all that. It kind of took over the world for a little bit there.
Yeah.
I think Animal Crossing could win, but I don't know what I think should win. I personally, off of this list, probably enjoyed Final Fantasy VII the most, but that's like a really specific to me type of situation.
Yeah, if I had to pick a runner up behind, like I think Hades is going to win. Like I feel pretty confident. If I had to pick a runner up behind that, Final Fantasy VII Remake would be what I would assume, because like The Last of Us 2 is a very good video game, and I'm happy I played it. And Sean knows my frustrations with that game very well, but like I think that game is too divisive to be. People fucking really hate that game.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to win. I'm actually even surprised it's on there because of what they chose to do with that game. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's still a very good game. I mean, it's very well made. It feels good to shoot people. Too good in a lot of cases. If they made that game VR, we'd have a whole new generation of murderers. Let me tell you. But yeah, I don't know. But you know what's funny is that I felt like this was a pretty good year for video games. But then when I think back, I'm like, what came out this year? I don't even fucking know. So
I feel like it could have been an even better year had COVID not happened and all the delays.
Sure. Well, we remember the original release date this year for Cyberpunk.
I know that would have been the clear winner for Game of the Year. I feel like if had it.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that we're able to say that without it even coming out and knowing much about it. But yeah, I feel like that probably would have taken Game of the Year handily.
Who knows? I mean, it could still come out and be bad. I mean, I'm not. You know, I hope that's not the case. I love The Witcher 3 too much, so I'm gonna like it. But who knows if it's gonna be, if it's gonna live up to that. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, man. Halo would have been out by now. Halo Infinite would already be out. What else?
I forget now, but
some stuff got delayed for sure. I mean, curious omission, Phasmophobia.
Curious omission?
Not on the game of the year.
Well, I mean, in that case, Among Us, yeah. I was going to say Among Us and Fall Guys, I feel like.
To be fair, though, like, Phasmophobia released this year, even though it was in early access. Like, is it still in? It is still in early access.
Yeah, it's early access.
Among Us has been out for years. Like, it's not even in early access. It's actually just out. What else? What was the other one? Fall Guys. Yeah, Fall Guys. I think Fall Guys. I'm surprised. I'm a little, because I have no reference for the Game Awards. Like, I think they generally award the wrong games. Yeah, so there's that. I'm shocked that Fall Guys is not on that list based on how popular it is. Like, I would have expected that to be the case, but
yeah, I think Fall Guys has fallen off a little bit. But
I regret buying that game.
Yeah.
I played it 3 times.
I think it's cool for like a party game, but
okay, I wanted to look this up. Who's won Game of the Year past like however many. So in 2014, Dragon Age Inquisition, pretty good, not gonna lie.
Like that game.
The Witcher 3 the year after that, pretty good. The year after that, Overwatch, kind of weird. The year after that, Breath of the Wild, makes sense. The year after that, the new God of War, definitely makes sense. And the year after that, it was Sekiro.
Okay.
So those are actually all pretty solid
Sekiro, that is interesting.
Other than Overwatch, that's a weird one, but every other year, those all make perfect sense. I didn't realize.
It was just a bad year for games. I don't know what else came out around the time of Overwatch.
It's a bad year for
everything. What were the? Can you see the other nominees there? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, let me.
What year was that? 2016. Yeah, it was.
For Overwatch.
Okay, Game of the Year. Overwatch, Doom 2016. Oh, Doom 2016
How did Inside not win? What?
Well, I don't know about that. Titanfall 2, that was a stacked fucking year, bro. Titanfall 2 was the game of that year. Titanfall 2 might be the game of the decade.
That should be the game of this year, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Titanfall 2 is the campaign.
Care about Titanfall 2 though?
No, man, fuck off.
Huh.
Nope, you're thinking of Titanfall 1, idiot. No, Titanfall 2, the campaign of Titanfall 2 actually, and this is not even a joke, is the best Half-Life game since Half-Life 2. I'm not kidding. I know that sounds funny, but like the way that they designed the Titanfall 2 campaign feels like a really fucking good Half-Life game. Like there's a new mechanic introduced and then disposed of in every level, and it is fucking awesome every fucking time. Like, that game is amazing. It's the best shooter for sure in the last 5 to 10 years.
Noted.
Nobody fucking fight me. Nobody fight me about this.
No, I've actually heard time and time again from everybody that's played it that it's like surprisingly just really, really good. So,
plus, man, any game where you can be in a giant mech and pick someone up and squish them until they explode into a red mist in your hand deserves to be Game of the Year the year that game comes out.
True.
And on that note,
we'll talk about Dead Space 3 next week.
Oh yeah, why didn't you bring that up? Well,
that's going to be like a whole thing, I feel like.
We need to play more, huh?
You guys could do a co-op Compatriots or whatever on that.
Yeah, we could. I don't know that there's enough going on there for that to be interesting for an entire time, but maybe. We'll play more of it and see how we feel. Initially,
we can talk about how fun it is to get that game just to work.
Give me the quick and dirty on your feelings about Dead Space 3.
So I'm in a weird position because like I haven't played 2 and I've almost beat 1 and I'm really liking 1. Going from 1 to 3 is extremely jarring because I know that 2 is where they got their real budget hike, and the production value of it got really like a lot higher, and people seem to really like 2. I'll say I've liked what we've played so far. I think that it is far more action than it is horror so far. Just because a lot of like out of the context of like fighting the necromorphs, what we're doing, I feel like is very. It just feels like a lot of other like shooters we've played, but I do like it. It's just the horror aspect of it seems to have taken a back seat. But the quality of the game is good. I literally cannot ignore the fact that like the technical aspects, like the fact that like we had to go into the INI and like we had to essentially like go into the game document to even get the resolution to be like a modern resolution, and like your whole issue with like sound and stuff, like getting the game running was like a complete nightmare, and it can't be just us that has had that issue. It doesn't seem like it's like an isolated thing.
No, if you go to the PC gaming wiki, there's a laundry list of bugs that people run into, so it's pretty well documented. I think that's clear evidence that this game was a console game first.
Yeah. What I will say, I think the really big positive is that as a co-op game, I think it's really successful. I haven't really gotten annoyed yet. There are a few of those things where it's like both of you need to be present to make this thing work. But most of them have been cool.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it so far. I'll have to see how it goes as we keep going through it. I do really appreciate that this game seems to be more friendly to mouse and keyboard, because I genuinely prefer playing the first game on mouse and keyboard too. Just aiming is better in general. And you have to do a bunch of shit to get your mouse to work properly on the first Dead Space, which is, I don't know what the deal is with these games and technical issues, but what's your feeling on it so far? You've played it before, so.
Yeah, this will be, I played it at co-op when it first came out, and then I played it again about 5 years ago with one Tristan Tran. And then so this will be my third time playing it. It's worse than I remember, but it is still fun. It is still really fun. I think we in particular have been having a lot of fun with it. We've been making our own fun with that game, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of wacky in a way that the first one isn't.
Yeah,
the first one is very serious. And this one is too, but it's got moments in it that are just really strange. It's kind of like a B movie kind of thing.
It is. Yeah, this game reminds me, it's almost like the transition from like Resident Evil 4 to like 5 and then to 6. Like by the time you hit 6, it was like really ridiculous and stupid. This feels like the Resident Evil 6 of the Dead Space franchise. Like it's just very silly.
As another comparison, Mandalore said that each game follows like the progression of the Alien movies and their tone kind of too, and I think that I would agree with that. I do have to play 2, but it seems as though like the action just kind of ramps up with each game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's really strange, man. But I'm excited to play through it, and we'll probably have a lot more concrete feelings about it in as we get deeper in. But
I definitely want to see it through. It's not the sort of thing where it's like where I don't want to finish it. It's really fun so far. That game feels good, I think.
Yeah. The shooting is very tight in that game in a way that the first game was not. And I think that depending on who you ask is like a benefit or a detriment, because like the better shooting mechanics get in a horror game, the less scary everything is. But it's a cool game, and they do interesting things with the co-op in that game. This is all well documented, but like the co-op, you'll start to experience stuff that I won't see.
That's cool. Oh,
there was already, and it's stuff that's easy to forget. Like I was reminded of it because when we were playing last night, a character radioed me and was like, and my I was playing what the fuck is Isaac Clarke. I was playing Isaac, and he goes, why did you radio me on a private channel? And then they're talking, and I was like, Sean, are you hearing this right now? And he wasn't. It's cool. Just really weird. That shit's it's an interesting way to do it. It reminds me of Splinter Cell. Was it Double Agent or no? It was Conviction. The co-op of Splinter Cell Conviction. When you get to the whole game, your handlers are like radioing you separately, and one of you're working from different agencies. One of you is from the US and one of you is from Russia, and you're working in tandem to stop like terrorists from getting their hands on some kind of fucking super nuke or some shit. And when you get to the end of they've been like saying like, hey, don't trust them. They're just here, while it suits them or whatever. And then you get to the end of the game and you're both in this like, you've been finished your mission, you've been picked up by an AC-130 and you're on separate parts of the plane, like opposite ends. And there's a moment where they radio you and they're like, hey, they're a liability. You got to take them out. And the very last minutes of that game are you guys killing each other. Like one of you has to kill the other one. And I'll never forget playing that shit co-op with Merced. I was literally, they're like radioing me. And my character in particular, I think was like washing his face in the bathroom or some shit. I don't remember. And like, he gets the call and I just go, Merced, silence. I'm like, Merced, nothing. And I'm just like, you motherfucker. And then we're like literally stealthing. It's like you're like hiding from each other, trying to get the drop on the other one. It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty funny. Anyway, cool. This went longer than I expected. Sorry, probably my fault. I think that VR conversation was really long, but well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. That was fun. Hopefully, maybe in a couple weeks we'll reconvene about some stuff, and hopefully by then, I mean, I'd like to have some impressions on a PlayStation 5 by that point. Because at the moment, yeah, I mean, at the moment, it does not seem likely. Like this shit has been.
I'll be honest. I feel like I could have had one right now if I weren't so busy lately. Like they seem to go in stock for like 20 minutes at a time, which is plenty of time to put something in your cart and check out. Like,
let me just say that websites have been crashing a lot. Like I have had them in my cart and checked out multiple times, only for the checkout process to die and then them to go out of stock in that span of time.
Right.
So there is that. I also have experienced, like last night I ordered one from the Kohl's drop.
Right.
Kohl's got them that hot new tech. I ordered one from the Kohl's drop and then 6 hours later got a cancellation because they oversold. And looking at Twitter, it sounds like that's happening to a lot of people. So, and bots. On the Walmart drops, all the bots are buying them up. You can't even fucking check out with one. Like it's just wild. So, but I will say also, I have to go to work and pay attention to shit other than console releases. And it kind of just seems like if you could sit there all day and look at the websites, you could probably get one pretty easily.
Yep, that's how I feel too. I'm just literally too busy to do that, which is unfortunate. But hey, man, we're adults now.
Yeah, I guess. Unfortunately, there are also a lot of adults who get to work from home and can stare at their computer all day. So
first off, fuck you, but also I was gonna offer maybe I can pay attention to it and order them, and you can Venmo me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you honestly get time, get two, and then we'll both have one. But no, I mean, that was not like a fuck you. I mean, honestly, like. I think the problem is seriously that 80% of the working world right now is working from home, and they literally have the time to sit there and look at it. Like that's, I would happily do that if I could, but I cannot. So,
yep. I will say, I don't know if this helps you at all. While I was shopping the other day, I was just asking, like, I went to a Target and a Walmart and I asked like, hey, what's the deal with like in-store stuff right now? And they said that they're getting them pretty consistently. They're just selling out as soon as they open in the morning, which I'm not going to go, wait for a Walmart to open or anything like that. But just as a heads up, I guess, I don't know how many retail stores
I mean, there aren't Walmarts in Chicago anyway, but it's my understanding that the city of Chicago, based on its ordinances in regards to like people being out and about, that's not the case here. But it's, I mean, I don't know. What I've been doing is I will check stock at like a Target every morning, like before they open, just to see. If that's the case, those are never hitting the inventory. Like they're not even putting them in. They're just selling them straight out of the store, which I don't know how that works feasibly, but like, like
you're trying to get it online before they open.
Basically, like as
and then walk in and pick it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't even seen those, so I don't know. It's been, but whatever. Maybe I'll have one. Maybe I won't. I really don't give a fuck. I have too many fucking games to be playing. I'm just annoyed. I think it's just the fucking the disrespect.
How do they?
I just, I have been playing games for too many years. Too many. I can't stop now. I can't have these fucking sneakerheads just getting into Fortnite, buying their fucking PS5s. Fuck these motherfuckers. I put too many years into this shit. I got bullied in middle school just for video games to become cool. This is nonsense, man. This is fucking nonsense. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks you guys for listening.
And that's the show.
Thanks, everyone. Sometimes I yell for no reason. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's, listen, these don't actually reflect the opinions of the rest of the people on staff or even my own.
These don't reflect the opinions of
Anyone.
Astro or what? Who makes that headset that we?
That's
The Astros, the Astros.
Yeah. Thank you, Facebook, for sponsoring us. The Oculus Quest 2 in stores now, $299.
Did you get the higher gigabyte version that was 400?
No, I did not.
Hey, man,
I think that's a trick.
Yeah.
I think that shit's a trick.
It is a lot more space, but I agree. I was just like, do you really need that much?
Yeah, I downloaded.
It's all a trick.
It's true. I downloaded a VR game.
Get out of here.
I downloaded a VR game. It was 8 gigabytes, and I went, "Why would it? How many VR games do you need to fill up 256 gigabytes?" I don't know.
Tyler's just mad that you can't have a mustache in VR yet.
That's true.
Dude,
Yo,
honestly. Yo.
I was playing Half-Life Alyx, and there was a painter's mask sitting on the ground, and I was like, can I do this? And I picked it up and put it against my face and then let go, and I was wearing the mask, and it was like, it had like the little 2 things, and I was like, that's weird. And then I took it away, and then I was like, can I cover my mouth? And then it does. Like, there's like an animation for you. Like, I don't know why you would do that in the game. Like, oh my god, I'm surprised. Or something. I don't know. Or maybe like you need to hold your breath for something at some point, but they got mouth interaction.
Interesting.
Hey, we're all about mouth interaction here at the Infinite Scale Podcast Network. Thank you guys for listening. We got to go. I got to go to the gym before we play D&D later. So,
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys. Maybe we'll see you in a couple weeks. That'd be nice. Goodbye.
Yeah. Hope
Bye.
to see you here.
I pushed the wrong button.